Hey, this is Jeff. I need your help with something. I'm going to send this to you, and it's better to talk over the phone or face to face. But I've got an idea that I've had for many years, believe it or not. And it's something that's always right on my mind. And with everything that you do, you may or may not be able to help me with it. I don't know. And it has nothing to do with business. It has to do with when I was in the Marine Corps. I never There was always something in the back of my mind, but there's something stuck. And the reason why I'm sending you this quick video is so you kind of understand where I'm coming from, and I think it's very possible to achieve the full idea that I want to do, but it's going to take years. Now, you kind of got to know where I'm coming from. When I was in Thessaloniki, Greece, with the Marines, we drove a couple hours outside of town to King Philip II's tomb, which was, somewhat new discovery, a couple years, around the 1960s, I think. And I never knew why I went on this particular trip. I love history, don't get me wrong, but it was to show me something in my mind that I was trying to create. If you know anything about King Philip II's tomb, since he died, years before, Alexander the Great's son died and stuff like that, when they buried him, now why is this important? They did everything in marble. They put all the pictures in marble, the statues in marble. They chiseled out marble, and they created this underground tomb that was fit for a king. And anybody that saw it in history would always remember who he was. And how they got the person out was there was a hole in the ceiling, and then the person would climb out, then they'd seal the hole. Unlike the Egyptians, who would just bury him with them in the tombs. Anyway, that's not important. Um, next to King Philip II's tomb was Alexander the Great's son's tomb that he had. And technology over the years changed, and so on his son's tomb there wasn't very much. And you would think is because he was an infant and stuff like that. It's actually because all of the work, all the description who he was and everything else was all done on animal hide. Why? Because it brought out the colors, and people, they really weren't they didn't know about decay and that kind of stuff. To them it was going to last forever. However, stuff written in stone lasts forever, but things that were written on animal hide eventually turned to dust. And so there's really no information. In fact, they actually think that on that tomb may have been a description where Alexander was buried at. Now, the reason why that's important is because everybody wants to leave a legacy. Everybody wants to leave a reminder we're all fair to dying. I mean, that's not my case. Um, what I wanted to do was do something that could memorialize a lot of people, memorialize history the way it actually is, and actually make it to where people wanted to have fun and excitement, or they wanted to do something. But I could never figure out anything other than, oh, let's build another memorial. That's boring. It's been overplayed. I mean, granted, they work, but Quincy has what's called this path going around it, and little by little, year after year, they buy more and more, or they extend this trail that goes all the way around the city of Quincy. And one of the stops is the Veterans Home. And Quincy has a very, very rich history. It's got everywhere from the Enola Gay, has, to, we were the first, the automobile, the radio for cars was discovered here just by a little bitty pin that cost about 2 cents at the time. Anyway, then I noticed there was this thing, an app, with apps and technology. And what I wanted to do is I started thinking, how come that Pokemon app couldn't be adapted to, instead of going and looking for Pokemon, it could be turned into a memorial to where it's a living, speaking memorial around the entire trail. And there would be one point of contact, and you get free that would have this huge memorial somewhere, and it would have a big time capsule underneath. Now we're talking about by the time they're done, think about how far that would be going all the way around Quincy. And what I was thinking was, how come we don't have put memorials? People dedicate trees, they dedicate benches. So what my idea was create a main point memorial where it has actual Wi-Fi that can be controlled by the veterans home or somebody that has it. And because City of Quincy has free Wi-Fi in all their parks and everything else. However, this particular Wi-Fi would shoot out information and slowly, I mean, it's a kind of a big undertaking. We're talking about a lot of years to do this, and no better time than start now. But as people were running the trail, walking the trail, on the trail, all the way around Quincy, believe it or not, you can't take vehicles on this trail, and it's a hard top. It's not like a dirt trail. It's an actual hard top going. It's for bicyclists, runners, and stuff like that. So my thought and thinking was, how come we couldn't adapt something to where if people are on the trail, wherever they're at, they would see somebody that's being memorialized, whether it's a veteran or whether it's somebody that died, all the way back to World War, whatever, and I was thinking, why couldn't people actually be on this trail in virtual reality and tell a story? Now, the second part of how I got at the idea was in the Marine Corps, we have what's called the Crucible. And I know people hear about the Crucible and stuff like that. And I know it was under uh, General Krulak that put the Crucible in play. And what the Crucible was, it's basically part of Hell Week, where you have to hump so many miles with full gear, combat gear, and you're not allowed any sleep. Well, they have each obstacle is dedicated to a Medal of Honor winner. And only Marines would know about this because it's not something the general public's even allowed to see. Just because it's in the Marine Corps training grounds over at Pendleton and over at MCRD, South Carolina. So San Diego is where MCRD is for Hollywood Marines. However, we do our Crucible up in Pendleton. And every time we come up to one of the obstacles, we had to read who the Medal of Honor, how that Medal of Honor person received the Medal of Honor, and then do the task that the Medal of Honor person either did or was responsible for, whether it be, you can't touch any of the red, just an obstacle course and challenges that challenge the mind, brain, and body. Yes, I know mind and brain are the same thing. So my thought was we can memorialize veterans and people that have died on this trail. And what would keep it interesting is as people are running, walking, working out, doing marathons on this trail, or just out for a leisurely walk, they would have a virtual world in their hand with their phone or whatever they're going to come out with even more. And they can actually push a button and listen to that person or read about a person on their phone by where you're standing, just like the Pokemon. You had to go chase down the Pokemon. So they get up to it. And what would be nice is, in order to keep people doing it, the Wi-Fi password would change every few months. Now, if people actually listen to the full thing, they would get a point. So to make it fun, so in other words, I heard about this person. I heard about this World War II. I heard about just certain things. And when they get there and they listen to the whole thing, then they get a point. And what's funny is every couple months we rechange the Wi-Fi password, so they always have to go back to the main memorial. But if they sit there and listen to a little bit of history at the end of a couple months or the end of a year, they can actually win a couple prizes for people that, I'm sure there's companies out there would donate something to constantly have their name on the Wi-Fi. That's not the hard part, is getting people to, and like I said, City of Quincy be free. but there would be a lot of people that would want to put money into it as far as advertising, because that would bring people. You have to work out. Our big thing right now is working out, making sure we get exercise. It's not in front of a TV, which means you actually physically have to go there and do it. You can't just automatically. And if you don't stop on the correct spot, you're not going to find the person. Just like looking on your phone like a Pokemon app. Now, is this all perfect? No, I'm trying to find a way to do this, because quite frankly, we would then have a big time capsule underneath the main memorial that has the Wi-Fi. And after 100 years, or whatever it is, after 50 to 100 years, we would have it dug up to see how far we've come. And eventually this memorial can connect, say, the metal, or the was it the like, there's a bunch of highways and stuff that are in honor of people and stuff like that. So if people start riding their bikes to it, they're getting physical activity, they're pushing to get more. We make challenges out of it. Now, would there be somebody around? Yeah, there'd be the people that would run it, would be the people at the veterans home. And eventually we can connect to other towns and cities. And the more we do, eventually we can have, like those runs they do over in, where is it? Arizona or Texas, where I forgot what it's called. But this would be memorializing people, not just on paper, not just on a tomb that nobody reads, but it'd be memorializing them for events, activities. And if it worked, you just keep, somebody wants their information on there, somebody wants to do it, and we just keep putting on, not just for veterans though. Think about it. We have Napide in Quincy. We have a Titan Wheel. These are big businesses, and people want to leave a legacy so they would never be forgotten. And to me, it's kind of like, okay, for a few dollars, everybody that wants to be on the path can be. Why? Because there's no limit on how big you make this. So in other words, as the years go by, there'll be more people added, more things going on. We could figure it out a lot easier, and it starts from a main memorial part that you actually have to walk to get the Wi-Fi password, to get the information you need, and to know what the rules are for that particular, to make it fun and entertaining. And to me, like I said, no one's ever done it before, but that doesn't mean it cannot be done. And right now, granted, I'm trying to find out the logistics of it. And so that's what I'm asking for help to do, because like I said, we're all getting older, and I don't want it to be just I don't want people to tell me it can't be done, because I know it can be. It's just a matter of the logistics involved, just a matter of, what the plan of attack is, how much money we got to raise for it. But, like I said, if this works here, then we could develop it for other cities. So there's got to be a computer aspect. There's got to be a memorial aspect. There's got to be a health conscious aspect and a history aspect. Anyway, it's something that would last forever, or forever, And granted, like I said, trees, we plant trees, and that would be a focal point, because a lot of people donate trees in memory of loved ones. They go to one of the benches, it'd be there. But the whole idea is they have to find these people. They have to find, they have to keep going around looking. And the more people we have on it, the more fun it'll become, because now you have to get through, who's this person? Well, I never knew that person. Hey, who's that person? I never knew they did that. Anyway, that's where I thought I'd ask you about it.